Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this April 30th, 2022. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated, as well as Ag Risk Advisors. Well, folks, for the last 2 weekends in a row, we've been talking about a blizzard in the northern plains. Is there going to be a blizzard this weekend and this week? No, but there's more wet weather coming for the Dakotas. Nebraska, you're getting into the act now. We did see some really good precipitation at the end of the week for parts of Montana, parts of Wyoming, but we need to see a more southerly route of these storm systems to help bring the moisture that's been going across the northern part of the country to the parched central and southern plains. Now, we may, hopefully, we've got our fingers crossed, we may see some badly needed precipitation get further south into Colorado, parts of Kansas, parts of southeastern Wyoming and southwest Nebraska that are really, really dry. We're still going to have a struggle, I think, to get precipitation to get all the way down to I-40. And I think south of Interstate 70, it's going to be a little bit harder, but there is a little bit more of a southerly storm track developing as we go into May. So we'll be cautiously optimistic there. And May is going to be off to a cool start. The first week of May for a lot of the country is going to be rather cool, which is good news because if you're a bit on the cool side, that means there's weather coming and that means precipitation chances. Over the last week, wow, look at the precipitation over the northern plains over the last 7 days. It's been significant, and it's also gone back to parts of California and the Pacific Northwest. We again see the outline of the heaviest precipitation favoring the northern areas, and you can see this white patch right here, southeastern Wyoming, eastern plains of Colorado, down into northern and eastern New Mexico, West Texas, this area here, also back into Arizona that continues to be very, very dry. Now, we did see a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity right here, which is certainly helpful. And this area of Nebraska also dry, as well as eastern areas of South Dakota. But North Dakota, southeastern, many areas of Montana, northern half of Wyoming, western South Dakota, the Pine Ridge area of Nebraska, finally getting into some good moisture, and there's more coming. If you were to look at the precipitation anomaly, see all that green and blue there? Above average precipitation. And when you have above average precipitation for the last week of April, that's saying something. That's a significant amount of moisture. Also, a nice little shot of late spring moisture for the Sierra Nevada. But we need more help. We did get some help down in Texas as well, and just this very small patch in the panhandles and extreme southwestern areas of Kansas. The drought monitor looks like it hasn't changed much, and it hasn't, although we have seen some improvements. See the green right here? Lots of green areas right here showing improvement over northeastern Wyoming, eastern and southern Montana, and the western areas of the Dakotas. Improvement in Iowa as well. Let's start the forecast here looking at what's coming this weekend. And for the third weekend in a row, we're showing you a low up in the northern plain states. So there's going to be areas of rain and snow across North Dakota, South Dakota, eastern Montana, Nebraska, then moving into the Midwest and Corn Belt. Unfortunately, you see this area of wind right here. Windy conditions will be developing over Colorado, parts of Wyoming, down into New Mexico and Texas. Again, I'm afraid to say we've got another windy period coming. Now, I am optimistic we are going to see much less wind next week as the patterns are changing a little bit. So that'll be good news. So this is like deja vu. For the third update in a row here, we've got cold, wet, stormy weather in the northern plains, wet weather out into the Pacific Northwest and the far northern Rockies, windy and warm conditions elsewhere. But as we go into next weekend, this is where things begin to change. First of all, we have a storm system that's going to move through the west, two of them actually, one Sunday night and Monday of this coming week that'll bring parts of Wyoming and Colorado, Nebraska and Kansas some rain and thunderstorms. Another system is going to come towards the middle of next week, and that could bring areas of rain and thunderstorms. So between this weekend and the middle of next week, we're going to see a more southerly track of these storm systems, which is great news. Now, this is by next weekend, Mother's Day weekend, another low comes through, and this could produce areas of rain and snow. Notice the storm is further south. Instead of being up here in the northern plains, it's wanting to swing through southern Colorado. And if that happens, that is going to pull the better rain chances, snow, yes, snow chances as well, and thunderstorms further south into the central plains. This could be, we're keeping our fingers crossed, really good news for eastern Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, many areas of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and hopefully maybe New Mexico. So the prospects for better chances of rain, snow, and thunder and less wind for the central and southern plains looks better as we head into the first week of May, keeping our fingers crossed that that does come to fruition. The 7-day outlook of precipitation really shows that. Over the next week, this is through next Saturday, notice the areas of orange and yellow and blues here across areas like Colorado, western Kansas, and Nebraska that have been dry, and then here through the central and eastern Dakotas, then back across Montana, more rain coming to Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, and across the northern Great Basin states. But notice New Mexico and Arizona and southern Colorado. We're hoping that maybe later in the Mother's Day weekend into the following week, this trend of the moisture moving more south will continue. So we're looking at a little bit more of an optimistic forecast for the central plains, maybe the southern plains, and more wet coming to the northern areas. Livestock interests, be prepared for these cooler weather conditions to also mean snow. Take this with a bit of a grain of salt, but between this coming weekend and next weekend, there is an opportunity that some of these systems could be cold enough that it could still snow on the plains. Look at the snow across portions of Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, the Dakotas, back into Montana, and then back into the Pacific Northwest. So May is not going to jump up and be a really warm start, at least for the beginning of the week and the beginning of the first full week of May. Temperature trends look like this. Pretty cool for a lot of the United States as we go into the first 7 days of the new month. But when you see a cool pattern like this in the month of May, that's an indication of higher chances for precipitation. Our next update will be the 7th. Have a great week ahead, everybody.